Live from the Akrs Broadcast Center inside East Stadium, this is the Husker Athletic Director Show with Troy Dannon.
Stay with the trips to the near side. Back to throw is Rhule. Holding, set, a little flip to the end zone. Pass is caught. Touchdown. Nebraska's on the board, and it is Isaiah Nayor with a touchdown grab for the Big Red.
Long shoots at Andy Jackson. Kaboom! Wow! Off of Skylar Pierce on the back row. Andy crosses under the net to hug her teammate. Sorry about that. That was a rocket on set point.
Dillon going to take a shot, flips a pass down the field as a man out there. The pass is caught. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown. Jalen Lloyd finds the end zone in the spring game.
Left to right. The red team facing their teammates dressed in white. Served by Olivia Malkin Harper. Good pass, right side swing. Merritt Beeson blocked. Taylor Landfair. The red claims the second set, 25-23. The red wins a deuce game.
Here's your host, Greg Sharpe, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Thank you. Welcome to our first Athletic Director Show for a new school year, which in fact school began today on the UNL campus. Pretty late start here on August the 26th. So Troy Dannon's with us for the entire hour. If you want to be a part of the program, our text line is open for you, 402-413-2400. We're also streaming on our YouTube channel. If you want to pop in the chat and ask a question, I'll be checking that out as well. First question. Where did summer go, Troy? My goodness.
Well, the last 2 days it's been back.
Yeah, right.
Thankfully, this is not opening weekend with this heat, but you know, for me it was a lost summer, right? And you know, with the transition and everything, and just getting used to everything that I was going to get to find here in Lincoln at the University of Nebraska. But it's hard to believe that it's finally here. But it seems like it's taken forever to get here, if that makes sense.
Are you set? Do you feel settled, or are you still feeling like, "Whew, this is new for me today"?
Well, everything's new, you know, and so you're drinking from a fire hose basically for the first year, and you know, you kind of say yes to everything until you figure out what you can say no to, and so it's been a busy time. You know, getting the family settled is the big thing. Getting the kids in school and figuring out some relationships and things like that, and you know, my son's first flag football game is tonight, so I think at 8 o'clock when that game starts, I think things will start to feel a lot more settled at home. Here, you know, I know this is 18 years for me of doing this, my 18th fall. You're always a little bit unsettled walking in because you just never know what each day is going to bring.
This past weekend was fun. You had 2 fan days, volleyball over Devaney, and you had football here at the Hawks Championship Center. Good turnouts for both of those, weren't there?
Yeah, you know, when I walked into the volleyball and saw the line, I went up to Coach Cook and I said, I'm going to see some things today I've never seen before, aren't I? And he looked at me and smiled, and I did. You know, that was very special. You know, it's my first real experience. You know, I was here for some baseball, softball, but this was my witness to the Nebraska fan base in action. And to see the number of little kids at that volleyball event, just giddy to get their pictures and autographs, and then walking into Hawks and seeing, you know, basically the building full, and then to come back for their red-white scrimmage, and you know, it's almost to get people outside of here to understand. For an inter-squad scrimmage, it's a sold-out crowd. The atmosphere inside the building, it's just something really, really special. You know, makes me even more fortunate. Makes me understand how even more fortunate I am to get to be a part of this.
We had John in for his radio show last Thursday night. I think they're going to be pretty good. I mean, preseason number 2. What did you like? What you saw on the scrimmage Saturday?
You know, it's just, and I've been around some good volleyball. We had top 6 seed volleyball when I was at Northern Iowa, but this the level of talent, you know, 1 through 15 on that roster, and just the size. You know, it's something you just don't see. It's an elite, special elite level of volleyball. I'm looking forward to the season that lies ahead, and you look at that schedule that he's undertaken, and you say, I mean, this. If you like volleyball, or even if you don't, if you just like competition, it's elite versus elite, and I love the fact that he's willing to take that on. It'll be a fun season for all of us.
Yeah, tomorrow night at this time, they're underway. They're playing Kentucky tomorrow down in Louisville. We'll have it for you here on the HRN. So that took place Saturday, then the Boneyard Bash took place. There's a good feeling. Are you feeling good energy for our fall sports here?
All over the place. You know, there's just excitement, and I know, you know, people are frustrated because of what you haven't done. But I think more people are excited about, one, what we have done, obviously volleyball and soccer coming back off of big seasons with big expectations. And I think just the momentum behind the football program. I long believed Matt's the real deal, and we've talked about that before. And I think our fan base, I've been all around Nebraska really in the last month and a half, and I think everybody believes in what he's doing. We see the talent level that he's raised. Plus, we have a great veteran returning crew. There's a lot of karma probably built up against us. As Matt and I joked, switching sidelines this year, the karma can all stay on the east side.
Right.
Because, as we make the change, there's a lot of new. And there's some symbolism, I think, in just changing sidelines, is that it's just going to be a new view from inside the program on what lies ahead. But I think internally, and as I've seen externally, everybody's excited about the potential for what we have this fall.
You got here in late March, and you were then here when football finally moved into the Osborne Legacy Complex. It's quite a sight, and I know you're going to have some events coming up, and eventually you're going to allow the public to come in and check it out. But just kind of give us an update on how the move over there has been.
Well, I know the project's delayed. There's a lot of reasons for it, but 315,000 square feet, basically 2/3 of that dedicated solely to football, the rest dedicated to the student athletes, from academic support to a training table that, quite frankly, is second to none in what we're providing. We have a company called Flick that came in to actually run the training table and do the food. They don't do any other colleges. They're only in the NFL, the NBA, and professional sports. This is their first college venture, and our athletes are eating like professional athletes. I've seen the bills; they're eating like professional athletes. But it's an amazing facility, and not just because it's nice and new and pretty, but it provides the latest in essentially whatever you want. The latest in our ability to support academically when it comes to technology, but certainly our recovery spaces for the athletes, our strength room, and when people get a chance to look at the actual meeting rooms, right, where the teaching is done in those meeting rooms, they'll just be blown away. So I've said even the facility we just walked out of was remarkable and one of the best, and now we move into this, and facilities are very important, not just part of recruitment, but in the ability to build and get the program where you want it to be. And I think we can stack our facilities up against anybody.
So you're going to, I know, have a grand opening later this week, but then I know at some point in time you will open the doors so some fans can come in and see the lobby, which is beautiful, and it's got some big screens and all that type of thing. That'll be fun and it's important to keep the fans involved in this. Yeah,
right now in that north corner, the northwest corner of the stadium is where a lot of the memorabilia was at, and that's kind of the fan experience area. That will transition into really this east side now when fans want to come in and so that will be open, I think, during the week here pretty soon.
On game days.
On game days, it'll be closed off. We'll use it for recruiting and some other events. But during the week, people come in and see those Heisman trophies and see some of those championship trophies and the memorabilia, get their photos taken with it. It's a beautiful, beautiful space.
And it's not just football. I mean, football's all over there, but all your student athletes are going to benefit from that building.
They are, and so the training table is obviously the thing we think about first, but the academic spaces, we went from, I think, 16 tutoring rooms to 37 tutoring rooms. And so one of the things that Nebraska's long done, I think as a standard bearer nationally, is how we've resourced our commitment to the experience of the student athletes. And so our a large academic staff, more spaces, more meeting rooms for small groups. Education is done a little bit differently than maybe when you and I were coming up and what the requirements were, but all those requirements are built in now. Technology's out of this world, and the academic space is about a 25-foot walk away from the space where they eat. So I'm a firm believer in nutrition. Of the things we need to provide, nutrition's right at the very top of the list, and so to have that, the proximity to everything else, our compliance staff is there. It's a really nice one-stop shop where the athletes, there's a wow factor, and as people get in and see it, they'll understand that.
And I'm sure all your coaches appreciate that. I mean, not just football.
Well, and to tell you the impact, recruiting, on Saturdays, on football game days, everybody recruits. Every coach brings in their best kids, and instead of, we have an event every Saturday, and it's been in the Hawks for years. Now it's going to be inside, second floor in the cafeteria, because we want to show it off. We want everybody to know what we've got, and knowing full well that no one else can compare to what we're able to provide our student athletes.
Coming off of a really good year, and I know one of our higher standings in the all sports thing, and you've raved about the coaches on the staff here. You've even given a couple of them some extensions, but the momentum within the department goes well beyond just the football and volleyball that we're getting ready to go here in the fall.
Well, I can talk about facilities for forever and ever, but people make everything run, and we have wonderful people in the department. You know, I would say from an administrative staff standpoint, the boots on the ground, those who are doing the work, do a phenomenal job here. But we have great coaches, and you know, there's a lot to being a great coach, right? There's the tactician, there's the recruiter, but there's the, you know, I want my son or my daughter to play for this person. And you know, up and down through our coaching lineup, we've got those coaches who bring it all to the table. And a lot of them have been here for a long time, and there's a reason. You don't let good people get away. You know, Will Bolt just got a contract extension. I don't even know if we announced Mark Manning's extension yet, but Keith will probably be mad at me. But you know, Mark Manning has an extension. So, and prior to me getting here, I think both Fred and Amy got. So, the commitment to making sure we keep good people and good leaders is really a hallmark at Nebraska, and it's a tradition that I will be proud to continue.
You mentioned Will Bolt. I don't know that we've had you on since winning that conference championship in Omaha. That was quite a scene, wasn't it? 12,000 fans in Omaha. They moved the time up to 10 a.m., and Husker Nation was there to support the team.
Yeah, however, they moved it up to 10 a.m. for weather, and it was one of the most beautiful days of the spring and summer. But, you know, and just think back to the experience my son had, who hasn't grown up a baseball kid, hasn't grown up really around baseball, but just captivated by, you know, one, the experience, two, the crowd. And when you think, you know, as a player, you're stepping on the field and you got that crowd behind you, and you know, that game, you know, obviously came down to the wire, but the impact that the crowd can have
Huge
on our athletes, and I think we all saw it maybe in that particular game. But Will did a great job, and not just Will, he's got an outstanding coaching staff as well. So, you know, this is a program for where we're located. You know, the Upper Midwest, you can say, is tough for baseball because of weather. And you know, when I was at Tulane, you know, we're practicing in January in shorts and T-shirts, and it's 70 degrees outside. But there's no reason we can't be, you know, particularly north of the Mason-Dixon line, we cannot be the elite program in the country.
Speaking of crowds, we're a couple of days we're inside of Memorial Stadium here in our studios. Memorial Stadium's going to get filled up. 4 straight weekend home games. Got the Friday night game to kind of wrap up the 4-game stand. It's going to be great to have all these games right at the top at home, isn't it?
Well, I suppose I'm going to get spoiled because I think the first time in 5 years maybe we've opened at home, and certainly not a stretch like this. But, you know, it's a great advantage. You know, when you have a young quarterback, it's nice for him to get his feet wet at home, and it's a nice opportunity for us to get a little bit of momentum. And, you know, we've got, you know, as we learned last week in those Week 0 games, there is nothing given. And so you can't take anything for granted. But to be here, get our fans revved up, it looks like the weather's going to be awesome next week. And I'm really looking forward to the atmosphere. I've heard a lot about it. You know, really look forward to the atmosphere in you know, week 2, 3, and 4. We're at night. And so you know, I think it's a little different here. Is one of the things Matt told me. He said the atmosphere is great, but the atmosphere at night is unbelievable, off the charts. And so getting to see that and be a part of that 3 times in the month of September is pretty awesome.
Got a big sellout coming up, too. The Illinois game, I believe, will be the 400th. How about that? 400 straight sellouts.
400, it's hard to believe it's 1962. You know, I was still not even a twinkle in my mom's eye at the time. So it's quite a streak. You know, we have I think we have a couple hundred tickets left yet for this weekend's game. We have a couple hundred for Illinois. You know what happened? That's fairly normal. What happens? We sell those we have, but there's an exchange of tickets with the road team, and a few weeks ahead of the game, they need to return what's unsold. So we have some of those unsolds, and as we always do, but they'll be gone. I have no question about that, and that sellout streak. You know, really, you look at the volleyball and talk about the 92,000 last year, but the legacy of what Nebraska fans have done for this program. You know, we're known for a lot of things, and that end means a lot of things, but people are going to think of that volleyball world record crowd last year, and people think about the sellout streak. The
Friday night game with Illinois, I know that got announced a couple months ago. That's different for Nebraska to play on a Friday night game, and you have to have some cooperation across campus because it's going to take up parking and some of those type of things. That's a bit of a challenge, but it's kind of the new world we live in with television partners who want good games and good windows, and we want good exposure, and a Friday night game is a pretty good exposure.
Well, you're exactly right. It's a heavy lift for campus, and changes have to be made. And, this campus is an academic campus. It's not an athletics campus, and so, their willingness to make those changes are important, but as I've reminded a couple of people who were balking, one of the things that everybody loves about us is we're financially independent from the university, and we're financially independent from the university because of our television contracts, which sometimes cause games to be played on Friday night, and it allows us that independence. And the fact that we haven't played many during the school year, this is the norm on a lot of college campuses, and so the integration of academics and athletics behind the scenes happens a lot. This is a very, very visible one. Campus has been awesome in finding a way to make it work. Now, I know, the Iowa game being on Friday, we've got some weekday experience, but not when classes are going.
Right.
But I think everybody's commitment to make it work and make it work in the best possible way has been there. And, if you don't like playing on Friday night, win more games, There'll be opportunities sometimes to play on Friday night, and for us, this is actually an opportunity. While maybe we're not in that prime time, 2:30 Central Time Saturday game that they put maybe the best game of the weekend in. The thing about it is we're going to be on national television. We are the only game in town, and so one of the things we want from a recruiting standpoint are eyeballs on the program. We're proud of where the program's at. We're proud of where it's going, and the more people that have a chance to see it, the better. So it's a great opportunity. I would rather play a Friday night home game than a Friday night road game for that very reason. I want people to see this crowd and see our fans and see the impact and see what Nebraska Huskers are like.
Very good. Well, you brought a guest with you tonight. We got these home games coming up. Memorial Stadium, the gates are about to open on Saturday. Some changes around the stadium, and none better to talk about it than Matt Davidson, who's the Associate AD for Event Management. We'll come back, and Matt will join our conversation next.
It's go time in the Midwest. The Labor Day sales event is on now. Time to get 0% financing or $6,000 cash back on a new 2024 F-150. Don't wait. Get our best deals on our best selection of Ford trucks only through September 3rd. These deals won't last forever, so that means it's go time. Go to the Labor Day sales event at your Midwest Ford dealers today. It all ends September 3rd. Now get 0% financing for 36 months for up to $6,000 cash back on a 2024 F-150. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Hi, I'm Tom Osborne, former football coach and co-founder of the Teammates Mentoring Program.
And I'm Des Moines Adams, Husker Black Shirt and CEO of Teammates Mentoring.
We are recruiting teammates mentors and need caring adults to be in the lives of our students.
Meeting with a student once a week at the school can make a positive impact in their life and have a ripple effect in our communities.
Please join our team.
Go to teammates.org today.
Hey Husker fans, Alumni Hall is your ultimate Husker shopping experience. The best and largest selection of apparel for the whole family. Adidas, Champion, Columbia, plus gifts, accessories, and all of your tailgating needs. UNL students, faculty, and military always receive a 10% off in-store, and you can earn cash back with Hall Pass rewards. Shop their downtown Lincoln or South Point Pavilion locations or anytime at alumnihall.com. Alumni Hall, where Husker fans shop.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
This year, we considered hiring an ad agency to help with our marketing.
They pitched impressive visuals and a script that was inspiring.
And exotic animal mascots to help grab your attention.
In the end, we just decided to tell it to you straight. Shelter Insurance has award-winning customer service at affordable rates.
Plus, our local agents are there to help you understand what coverage you need.
See shelter agent Sharon Lear in Papillion, Paul Hoos in Grand Island, or an Ord C agent Matt Woodward.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect that water is the reason parts of your concrete have gotten so uneven. Walkway tripping hazards, sinking pool deck, cracked driveways are dangerous threats to everyone's safety. But there's one way to learn how your concrete can be lifted. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Did you get us switched over to shelter insurance?
Actually, I found a deal online.
You did? Does your deal come with award-winning customer service?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Does the deal include a local agent?
Doesn't actually say.
Can we create a customized plan that fits our needs? Let's just call the local shelter agent.
For insurance that fits just right, find a shelter agent near you.
See shelter agent Jeff Brandt in Hastings or Collie Schilke in Imperial today.
Set, hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TL Irrigation are like no other.
Welcome back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center. It's sponsored by Akrs. They are the Midwest's premier John Deere dealers, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs solutions for every field. Welcome back. It's our athletic director show, our first one for the new school year here tonight, and delighted to be joined this segment by Matt Davidson, who's the Associate AD for Event Management. Not to be confused with the guy who made the catch from Tecumseh, but Matt Davidson, who's been here. Are you double-digit years now at Nebraska now?
Yeah,
Matt?
This is my 16th season.
Wow.
Yeah.
Goes fast.
It does go fast, but there's not another program in college athletics that rivals this, so it's a great place to be.
You and your staff are about to get really busy with 4 straight home football games, aren't you?
We've been busy. We've been busy. Football never sleeps, so you're always planning and working around football, and we're always trying to look how we can move the needle and get better.
One of the things, about Matt too, and I knew of him before I got, he will go around the country and talk about game management. And he's kind of one of the people that other schools bring in for his expertise. It's the way it's been managed here is something special. So, he's a tremendous asset to have here at the University of Nebraska.
Let's talk about getting people in and out of the stadium. Are there changes in that coming up this year that folks need to know about?
There are changes, and honestly, it was a long time coming. We're introducing some new gate security screening by a company called Evolve Express, and we're going to have this at the majority of every single gate is going to have a new look. And what we wanted to do, and largely what Troy got behind this when he first got here on us procuring this equipment, was we wanted to create a safer environment for our fans. And the research that we did, there's a lot of equipment out there. There's a lot of companies that provide gate screening equipment, and we wanted to get the cutting edge equipment that's on the market right now, and that's what we went and got. And it's going to really allow the fans to not only feel safer, but they're going to get through the gates a lot more efficient as well.
We had a text from Dr. Jan Carney wanting to know about the security part of it, and that's, unfortunately, we're kind of in a world now that's a bigger deal than it was in the 90s or the 80s. It's just something that you have to deal with. Ticket cashless, now concessions. That's been a big topic that came out a couple of months ago that was going to be the case. Now tell everybody what that means and what their options will be on game days.
So we are 100% cashless, at Devaney, at the stadium. And this may be a big change for some people, but largely speaking, this is the norm across our industry right now. So with that, we will have very few options for individuals with cash to card, but largely speaking, people should plan when they come to Devaney, when they come to Memorial Stadium. Bring their credit cards, concessions, merchandising, everything will be 100% cashless.
Troy, I'm sure in your experience you've seen this all over the country.
Yeah, and this is an area, our security, and we'll probably talk about mobile ticketing here too, that really are the norm at other places, and we either hadn't evolved there yet or we're putting it off a little bit. You know, the cashless concessions piece, you know, one, it will expedite transactions, and whether we think about it or not, the cash in, cash out versus making the swipe or the tap of the card, it does move faster. Those lines will move a lot faster. And two, frankly, you know, one of the aha moments I had when I got here was walking into an office after an event and seeing stacks of cash being counted, and you know, just from a best business practice, the less cash you have, the less opportunity you have for anything bad to happen. So, you know, getting cash out of our business and you know, at the same time, I think better business practice while expediting, you know, and it's a change. And, you know, people as a general rule don't like change, but people acclimate to change very quickly. And so we're going to do as much as we can. One of the things that I don't think we could have done this last year, but we had about a $5 million upgrade to our wireless system throughout the concourse. And so we'll be able to conduct some transactions at the stands where maybe even our infrastructure last year wouldn't have allowed us to do it.
You mentioned mobile ticketing. Let's go there next, because you've been in a process of doing that with other sports. Where does that stand now as it relates to football?
So football and volleyball are not fully onboarding, you know, with mobile only, but the push is there, right?
Yeah, I think the plan right now is for the fall of 25.
Okay.
Those are the last two sports that will be non-mobile this year, but headed there next year. We put an announcement out, one, to give people a lot of ramp-up time. And one thing to understand about mobile ticketing, and it's going to be that way in Pinnacle Bank this year, and that doesn't mean you have to have a smartphone. You know, you can print your tickets out at home and take the piece of paper, you know, if you will. And I'm one of those guys, when that's first rolled out, I didn't trust my battery's going to be gone or my Wi-Fi's not going to work, whatever the case. So I would always print them out on a piece of paper and take them, and I had just a paper ticket I printed at home. You know, a lot of security is and to alleviate fraud is one thing. Transfer of tickets is another. But frankly, we are spending in the hundreds of thousands of dollars to print tickets. And so it's really an economic move. And again, a move that normalizes this really with the rest of the way major venues operate across the country.
Matt, I know it takes hundreds of people under your watch to put on, particularly a football game day, when you've got 90,000 people coming to the stands, trying to get people moved in and out of the stadium. That's a yeoman's day. I mean, you have to be surrounded by good people to pull it off, don't you?
Yeah, and you know, I have an exceptional staff. I have two individuals that have been with me for 16 years, and there's a little over 3,000 people that we credential that come in, from concessionaires, from event staff, to law enforcement, to medical. There's about 35 different agencies that cover those 3,000 workers that help put this stadium on 7 times a year.
It's amazing, Troy. It takes a whole army to put on a football game.
Well, and there's one person at the head of that snake, if you will, and that's Matt. And you know, it's one thing to coordinate with the football staff and the athletic department and everything else, but to his point, all of the other units in creating what I think is the 4th largest city in the state 7 times a year, to coordinate all those and get everybody on the same page and make sure that we're prepared for everything, from weather. We just had a little discussion about that today, from weather to anything else that may go on, because nobody probably knows Matt, and as far as I'm concerned, it's great that nobody knows Matt, because if they do, it's probably because he's talking about something bad that happened. But he runs a great ship, and it's one of the reasons why game day is as good as it is here in Lincoln.
Matt, how challenging is it when you have football at 2:30 and volleyball at 7:30 Devaney? I mean, that's a lot of crossover, and to try to get the traffic flow, and that presents challenges, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, we're used to it.
Yeah.
We get a lot of volleyball, football crossover here, and because our volleyball team is so successful, sellout streaks, we're just talking about that on the previous, before the break. Volleyball has its own sellout streak. And you get 8,300 people that show up there, or 8,600. I think we added some new seats just this last year. We have a 5-hour gap, 2:30 football, 7:30 volleyball. That's something that we work with the Big Ten on, and when television allows it, we like to have that 5-hour gap. That mainly helps with the parking crossover.
Very good. Thank you for coming in, updating us. We'll look forward to these changes. And again, the security upgrade I think was needed, and you went and got the best of the best. Got to be proud of that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
One of the things too, before we go away from this, that entrance to the stadium, it's no longer showing everything. It's no longer emptying all your. It's just walking through.
Nice.
And so when he talks about state of the art, and moving freely through the gates, it's something that you don't really even see at TSA at the airports. It's even more advanced than that. So I think our fans will really appreciate it. And once they get through there for the first time, they'll kind of wonder why we hadn't done it before.
Is the clear bag policy still in effect?
That's a great point, Greg. The clear bag policy still is in place.
Okay.
The main thing, to Troy's point, the industry term is frictionless. So instead of fans having to, when it gets colder, unzip their jackets, take their hat off, we don't divest bags anymore. The equipment does all the work for us. We're spending the money on it. From a safety standpoint and from a fan experience standpoint, it's a win-win.
Very good. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Brad Davidson with us here on Troy Dannon's Monthly Show. We're back with more of the Husker Athletic Director coming up next.
Get ready again for some Nebraska farm facts. When there's work to be done, Nebraska soybeans are on the job in many of your everyday products. In fact, Nebraska soybeans are hard at work in Goodyear tires, Ford cars and trucks, Skechers shoes, asphalt, fuels, lubricants, name brand paints and stains, and more. Soybeans are an innovative replacement for petroleum, leading to more sustainable products all over the world. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear Truckin' Awesome. Want more horsepower in the stable? The Tundra iForce Max is the most powerful Tundra ever. With its electrifying twin-turbo V6, you got everything you need. Saddle up the Tacoma TRD Pro. Its segment-first performance seats are designed to smooth out the shocks when the ride gets bumpy. The Toyota 4Runner is part mean streak, part wild side, and an all-around icon. Check out that signature power rear window, will ya? Yes, sir, Toyota trucks. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
Not All Companies proudly supports the Huskers Radio Network. As a full-service leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Not All Hospitality's latest venture in Aksarben Village, and the contemporary living of row house townhomes on Leavenworth. We're welcoming world-class concepts from men's fashion and great eats to gorgeous homes and green spaces, all professionally managed by Not All Services. These are the Not All Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram.
Here in Nebraska, we love our teachers. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is teaming up with Husker Athletics to recognize teachers who help students live their best and healthiest lives. Visit Huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today to tell us about your favorite Nebraska educator. Winning teachers get a school day visit from Herbie Husker and a VIP experience at the 2025 Husker Football Spring Game, thanks to their biggest fans at Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska. Head to Huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today.
It's go time in the Midwest. The Labor Day sales event is on now. Time to get 0% financing or $6,000 cash back on a new 2024 F-150. Don't wait. Get our best deals on our best selection of Ford trucks only through September 3rd. These deals won't last forever, so that means it's go time. Go to the Labor Day sales event at your Midwest Ford dealers today. It all ends September 3rd. Now get 0% financing for 36 months for up to $6,000 cash back on a 2024 F-150. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Hi, this is Rex Burkhead, and I'm asking you to donate to the Team Jack Foundation to support childhood brain cancer research. Your contribution fuels the discovery of new treatments, enhancing children's lives and improving survival rates. Childhood brain cancer is a serious issue in Nebraska, where we rank number 7th nationally in incident rates. Every dollar brings us closer to a cure and a brighter future for these brave kids. Make a difference today by visiting teamjackfoundation.org to donate. Go Big Red.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse, the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. It is our athletic director show for the month of August. Troy Dannon with us for a few more minutes. Our text lines are open. A lot of the texts we were getting were about the ticketless, the cashless, and then the mobile tickets and those type of things. We covered a lot of that. Thanks again to Matt Davidson for coming in the last segment. You have a new boss. Jeffrey Gold took over as Nebraska president July the 1st. Prior to that, he had been the chancellor at UNMC, and you've recently announced an agreement with Nebraska Medicine on a sponsorship package. Tell us about that.
Yeah, that was the timing was fortuitous, not just with President Gold coming over from UNMC, but our sponsorship for our medical provider was up. CHI had the tent on the sideline in years past, and you know, had a conversation with the president early on and said, hey, this partnership's up, and you know, we could go do this again, but you know, why aren't we partnering with our own? Why isn't the University of Nebraska Medical partnering with Husker Athletics? And a day later, I had a phone call, and 2 days later, I said, let's get this done. So one, I think it's great for both of us. You know, our athletes are cared for on a day-to-day basis by UNMC and by Nebraska Medicine, and you know, we have a team physician who's employed by Nebraska Medicine, and so that partnership's important. They do a great job for us, and at the same time, you know, as we look to how do we enhance our prospects for AAU membership and what lies ahead, the medical part of this is huge. One of the things in the Big Ten Conference, the medical resources, the cancer centers that unite together in the Big Ten, big deal. So there's a lot of ways that there's advantages to us deepening that partnership with UNMC and Nebraska Medicine. So we're glad it's done. You know, after the volleyball inter-squad game on Saturday night with the new Nebraska Medicine messages on the boards, I had about 10 texts from people. Boy, I'm glad we got this done. So look forward to that partnership growing and deepening.
Makes sense. It does make sense. Dorothy Lynch, Homestyle Light and Lean Dressing, endless flavorabilities. We have a new conference with 4 new members as a part of it. One of them you're very familiar with Washington, but it's an exciting time in the Big Ten. And going back to just media days in Indianapolis in July, I could sense just a different kind of revitalized spirit with the league. Your thoughts about now this conference at 18? Yeah,
I guess, you know, from the Washington standpoint, being there, getting there a month after they announced the membership and seeing the excitement at those schools. And now for us, you know, Nebraska's kind of in the catbird seat because the mileage, you know, our travel really doesn't change. It's left or right. But, you know, now it's a coast-to-coast league, and you know, no one's out of sight, no one's out of sound, no one's out of mind, no matter where you go. You know, our ability to play on both coasts, I think, just enhances the visibility of the institution. But you know, there's uncertainty and newness, and I think you know that's what's got everybody fired up a little bit. It's you know, we don't like change, but we do like change because it gives a little curiosity to how we're going to approach things, and I think we're all looking forward to it. Obviously, we're adding 4 great football programs, 4 historically significant football programs. Matt's made a comment, and it's the truest of true. If I told him we were going to schedule one of those schools in the non-conference every year, he'd have been upset, and now we're going to play them as our 9th game in the Big Ten. So just go make the league better, and I think it helps the brand and visibility of everyone in the Big Ten.
Happy with the TV partners, too?
Oh, I mean, you know, entering into this new deal where where you're not just with one, you're with three, right? Basically, you have NBC, Fox, and CBS all broadcasting some games. We have the ability with ESPN and ABC in the postseason. So that visibility across networks, I think, is invaluable. You know, prior to my coming here, I was curious about, you know, how would that work? And now that I'm here, to know that there's going to be cross-promotional opportunities on every network for our games. And you know, we get Colorado on NBC, right? And then we turn around and we have a Friday night national telecast with Illinois. It's just, it's huge for us. And I don't think we can really underestimate or undertalk the benefit that that's going to bring to the University of Nebraska. You know, I want to expose this brand, not just so from a recruiting standpoint, but instead of 19,500 students, I want 21,000 students. I want students from around the country to say, I want to be a part of that place. And this just gives us a better chance to extend our reach, you know, not just geographically, but obviously across the networks, and live sports and live programming is where it's at.
You mentioned ESPN. They put out a documentary that aired yesterday, an E60 special. They were embedded with Husker Volleyball for 12 months. Your reaction to the piece that aired yesterday?
Well, you know, from the start, you know, it's the attention and the fact that you're a part of that documentary says something when you look at the history and who's been a part of it. It says something about your program. But I think a lot of the attention really got focused on Harper. Mm-hmm. That really became central to the story. And last night we met with our student athletes, and I asked for a show of hands. Now, it was 2 hours after it was aired, and said, how many of you have had a chance to watch it? Not many had yet. And I said, you know, the takeaway for me is that she represents dozens, if not hundreds, of our student athletes who have some story that nobody sees, nobody knows anything about, and who lives this life in front of a bunch of unknown people, and social media being so prevalent in teenagers and 20-year-olds' lives right now. It is a different world, and the pressures that our athletes face in the world of gambling. You know, our athletes, if you don't get 8 rebounds and the prop bet on you was 8 rebounds, they get hate mail. They get threats. Every place I've been since gambling became legalized, coaches are getting emails asking for information to help. So there's a different level of pressure that I don't think any of us really saw or see, that I think that documentary exposed and lets people understand, you know, these athletes, you know, nobody has the academic responsibilities on campus they do. No one has the social accountability they do. You know, none of us live our life with the scoreboard that they do. And so, you know, at that age and this point of their life, plus they're trying to go to school, you know, it's a heck of a responsibility they have. And you know, I think Harper's story is going to benefit a lot of athletes, not just here, but across the country, because I think it really showed what the pressures of competing at the highest of high levels can do. It's one thing to say you want to win. It's another thing, as was shown in that documentary, there's a price for that success, and not everybody can do it. Not everybody wants to do it. But, you know, and we can argue whether, you know, you should subject yourself to that because you decide to be a college athlete. You know, I will take the side of Amy Just's column, which I thought was a brilliant column. You know, it doesn't matter. You know, you don't, there's no entitlement to treat people in the way that Harper was treated afterwards, whether you agree with or disagree with. You know, that seems to be a societal thing, right? Everybody wants to take on, well, I can say anything I want. Well, you know, you can't say anything you want. There's accountability to what you say as well, but when you do it with anonymity on social media, that accountability tends to go away. And so I think long term, there's going to be a lot of great things come from that documentary, not to mention the fact that, you know, from the very beginning, the fact that our volleyball program is worthy and is very worthy of that attention, I think says a lot.
Well, and there were clips from Coach Cook in there addressing the team about this comes with being at Nebraska because of the attention and how much the state loves you, that there's going to be some negative to it as well. He's pretty upfront with his athletes about that.
Yeah, and you know, it's a discussion that a lot of the elite athletes have, you know, when they're on the recruiting visit or you know, when those 5-star athletes, because they've gotten such attention, but usually attention, you know, almost unchecked along the way in high school. And good coaches at the good schools, I would say, are having those good conversations that here's what can happen, here's how you handle it. You know, we've got police officers that track down threats. We've got, behavioral and mental health support for our athletes. We've bulked up our department in order to account for some of those things, and it's the tough part of it.
Yeah.
People have always thought coaches are fair game when they don't win enough because they're getting paid a lot of money, and just because maybe there's NIL today or revenue sharing tomorrow, I do tend to look at it differently with college athletes. They are students, and they're going to go on and be professionals somewhere else in life, and I'm not sure anyone's entitled to treat them the way that they're being treated.
You mentioned rev share. Any update on that? Has there been any progress during the summer months?
No, I think right now we're waiting for the court to decide whether they approve the settlement, or at least temporarily approve the settlement. That happens September 5th. And I think right now for us, we're scenario planning. What if this, what if that, and starting to have those conversations with our coaches about what could we potentially anticipate going forward. We had about a 3.5 hour long summit last week, and I started by saying I'm going to apologize because I'm going to pose more questions than I have answers. And when I was done, there were many more questions than even I thought there were going to be. So, we'll work through it.
This was from your coaches.
This is from the coaches.
Yeah.
So there's a lot in front of us, and I told Coach Osborne, thankfully we're dealing with this problem in the Big Ten, this challenge in the Big Ten, because if not, I don't think we'd have been as well prepared to deal with, address, and really take advantage of, because this is an opportunity for us to do this right from the very beginning. And as told the coaches, I don't want to know what any other school is doing because we should do that. I want people to point to Nebraska and say, we need to do what Nebraska's doing. And so help us model what that looks like in your sport. Help us lead. This is an opportunity. We are a leader. And I use the brand, we should set the standard that others aspire to achieve. Well, this is our opportunity to set that standard. So let's build the model out that everyone else says we should be doing what Nebraska does.
That's Troy Dannon, Husker Athletic Director, with us here on his first show of a new school year. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Some final thoughts from Troy coming up next.
Triple B Feed has the products to help your cows thrive. Whether it's weekly delivery of consumption-controlled Lumix liquid mineral with protein or Sweet Pro block supplements for space feeding, while also stretching your forages up to 25% better, Triple B has you covered. Let Brian and Brad Blauhorn take some of the stress out of your beef production this year. For more information and other products, visit triplebfeed.com. Triple B Feed, helping you and your cattle.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your crawl space and damaging your home. Musty smells, sagging floors, mold are just a few signs your crawl space is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns: a free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Husker Nation, your women's basketball team is gearing up for another incredible season, and you can be right in the heart of the action. Join the season ticket request list today and guarantee your spot for another year of Husker dominance. Witness every key basket, every clutch steal, and celebrate every victory with the most dedicated fans in the nation. Don't wait. Head over to huskers.com/tickets and secure your seat for an unforgettable season. Go Big Red.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your foundation and damaging your home. Cracks in walls and uneven floors are just a few signs your foundation is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns: a free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
If you're driven by an adventurous heart, you're in luck. The 2024 Subaru Outback shares your spirit. It will take you as far as you want to explore with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive and up to 9.5 inches of ground clearance. Plus, 96% of Outback vehicles sold in the last 10 years are still on the road today. The 2024 Subaru Outback. Go where love takes you. Longevity based on Experian Automotive Vehicles and Operations versus total new registrations for model years 2023 to 2022 as of December 2022.
We are back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs solutions for every field. Troy Dannon with us for a couple more minutes here. His first AD show of the new school year. Campus was alive today with day number 1 of classes here at UNL. Huskers getting ready for their first football game of the year. 2:30 Saturday against UTEP. We've had some people want to know about, can they get printed tickets? Is that going to be an option moving down the road? And maybe if they want to collect them or show year by year how many years they've been a season ticket
Yeah, I think
holder?
there will be a plan that you will be able to select printed tickets and have a hard ticket. It's not going to be the fancy ticket like maybe you see today, but something off of just a basic plain stock at an additional cost. So whether it helps people transition, but there'll be some option. Just as we said, there's the option to print them out at home too. So it's not just purely I got to have my phone and I got to show the barcode when I get in the door.
Very good. Yep. You've been to some practices. What do you think? We have a good team?
A lot of talent. Physical size is really good. I tend to look more, when I consider myself a football guy, I don't know if it's a 3-4, 4-3, or 5-5-9, right? Whatever. I'm just joking. But I want to see how everyone works together. I want to see the attitude. I want to see the ethic. I want to see how hard they go. I want to see how the coaches are. And I love everything I've seen in practice. They're driven, they're motivated. You can't tell. I mean, it's a veteran team, but it's a young team. There's a lot of young talent, and it's hard to sit on the sidelines and know who the freshmen are and who the seniors are, just because we have a maturity level with the younger guys, and I think the seniors have brought them up very, very quickly. The seniors got one more chance to break this streak, and they wanted to break on their watch. The freshmen have a chance to set this program in a direction that we've been longing for it to go. So I think there are not just expectations, which they all have expectations, but desires and ownership that you see every day, that everybody has something they want to do. They want to be the one that was a part of the team that did blank. And so you see that up and down the lineup. So that's a real positive for me. I love the leadership. We talk about the quarterback a lot. I would think he was a 23-year-old senior if I didn't know better from being around him from a leadership standpoint. The one thing we saw last year with Texas and Washington in that national championship game is, despite the transfer portal, those are two really veteran teams. A lot of seniors, a lot of 22, 23-year-old men playing football. And the ability to keep that roster together and learn to play with one another over a period of time is going to be very important to a team's ultimate success. And so the fact that he kept the roster together as well as he did last year, and then have built with the talent around it that he built this year, I think is a really good omen and sign for the future here.
Well, appreciate you coming in. We covered a lot of ground here. Looking forward to our monthly chats. Let's have some fun. Let's go win on Saturday. Let's go get that done.
It sounds like a really good plan to me, and I hope we're having the same conversation in a month when I come back, and we're talking about continuing the streak.
Yeah, the next time you're back, we'll have 4 games under our belt. It goes that fast. Thank you, Troy.
Hard to believe. Yep, you bet.
Troy Dannon with us here, our monthly athletic director show on Sports Nightly. We have another hour of Sports Nightly coming up. Jessica will join the program. We'll get into some Matt Rhule comments from his presser earlier today. Come on back for hour number 2.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts. Set. Hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TL Irrigation are like no other.
Here in Nebraska, we love our teachers. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is teaming up with Husker Athletics to recognize teachers who help students live their best and healthiest lives. Visit huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today to tell us about your favorite Nebraska educator. Winning teachers get a school day visit from Herbie Husker and a VIP experience at the 2025 Husker football spring game. Thanks to their biggest fans at Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska. Head to huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today.
It's time for another round of Nebraska Farm Facts. If there's one thing Nebraska's known for, it's our beef. And Nebraska soybeans feed a lot of them, and even more pigs and chickens. Farmers and ranchers raise livestock and poultry to provide nutritious, affordable protein for all ages to help build muscle and maintain energy for a healthy lifestyle. Keep that in mind as you prepare all that tasty meat on your tailgate grill. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Woodhouse has been your premier destination for your automotive needs since 1975. Whether you're looking to purchase a new vehicle, sell your current one, or looking to service, our team ensures a convenient and seamless transaction from start to finish. Explore our wide selection of top brands and enjoy the peace of mind that comes with our team's dedication and decades of trusted service. Get started online at woodhouse.com and experience the Woodhouse difference today.
Good evening. I'm David Swotek, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. This Saturday will be the first game of the season for Nebraska football, a home game against UTEP starting at 2:30 p.m. Head coach Matt Rhule spoke today at a press conference discussing his excitement to take the field this Saturday.
Excited to be here for game week. Excited to see the students start classes on campus. Before I get started, I want to wish all the local high schools all throughout the state good luck as they enter their seasons. We're obviously excited about the opportunity. We've worked very hard. Excited to play a home game. Excited to play UTEP. Coach Walden is a winner. I've known him since all the way back at East Texas Baptist. And he'll bring elite energy. He'll bring a dynamic offense and an aggressive defense. They've got excellent players. And so it's going to be quite a challenge. So we're excited about it, excited about our team, and look forward to seeing everyone there, starting with the legacy walk and all the way through the end of the game. We hope it's a great day because we've worked very hard to get to this day.
We will hear more from head coach Matt Rhule later in the show. Husker women's basketball is adding a new recruit. Petra Bozan, a 6'3" forward center from Croatia, will be joining Nebraska for this upcoming season. Bozan led her team in the FIBA U18 Women's Eurobasket Tournament with 113 points and 70 rebounds over the 7-game tournament. The incoming freshman ranked 6th of all players in the 16-team tournament in scoring and 3rd in rebounding. The Husker men's tennis team announced its fall schedule today, with the ITA All-American Championships being the first invite of the year on September 21st in Tulsa, Oklahoma. This will be the second season for Peter Kobelt as the head coach. Last season, he led Nebraska to the most single-season wins since 1990. The full schedule for Husker men's tennis can be found at huskers.com. Timeout. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, the 988 Suicide in Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Coming up next is Hour 2 of Sports Nightly, right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
First pitch to Evans. Cole swings and hits one in the air to center. That's hit pretty well. Matheson going back to the wall. That ball is gone. Cole Evans is the hero. On senior night, a walk-off 3-run homer by Cole Evans. And it's about to be party time in Lincoln.
Dillon turns, hands it off to Dowdell, left side, bounces to the outside, 40, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Dante Dowdell.
Overbeek, deep to right field, way back and way out of here. It's off the light pole in right field. A solo shot for Joshua Overbeek, and it's 10-2 Huskers.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
Been waiting to say this for a few days. It's game week.
Let's go. Finally, it's here.
Wow.
I had a different pep in my step when I woke up. Actually, yesterday, and it just, hey, we're starting to talk about playing a game. And just, you know, preparing for the week, knowing that, okay, tomorrow's the press game, or the first presser that's leading into the first game, and then it's here. It's finally here.
Glad it wasn't today. 100 degrees.
Oh,
Woo.
yeah.
It'd have been toasty out there at 2:30 today. But
it's kind of hard to breathe.
A little bit.
It's so, it just like kind of, when you walk out, it takes your breath away a little bit.
Kind of hits you in the face.
Yeah.
Wow, what a good hour, Troy Dannon. He's fired up and ready. A lot of moving parts, obviously, when you run an athletic department, and we cover a lot of ground, and there's some changes. Then I'm glad Matt Davidson came in to talk about kind of the new entries to the stadium and the what they call it, where they're not going to be as invasive on the security to get into the stadium. And I know a lot of people have questions about cashless concession stands moving forward, but hopefully they were able to answer a lot of your questions out there. But I think it'll be okay. I think people, you know, sometimes resistant to change, but I think once you kind of experience a game or two, you're going to go, oh, okay, I can deal with that.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's consistently been a lot of changes that have happened, right? From the start of, I remember a time when you didn't have to go through security at all, right? You know, I mean, there have been a lot of different changes, and you get used to it. I mean, the mobile ticketing, I remember when my dad, when it first happened, I was at Oklahoma at the time, and he was not happy about it. But then he realized, oh, wait, this is a lot easier than having to manage, a bunch of tickets, and I'd have to meet him to give him the tickets. And so he's as big a fan as anybody with the mobile tickets, and he was one of the biggest, he pushed back on it a lot. He was not very happy about it, but now he loves it. So, just times change, and I feel like the more you do it, the more you get used to it.
That's exactly right. So appreciate Troy coming in. He'll be in every month for one show a month, like we've done for years around here, and he'll be good at that. He's very transparent. He's in the know on a lot of the moving parts of college sports with rev share and those type of things, but that's going to continue to change. He talked about a court hearing coming up September the 5th that's going to impact a lot of that as well. Before we get too deep into the show, I want to get your thoughts about the E60 doc that dropped yesterday from ESPN, that they were embedded with Husker volleyball for 12 months. Your take on that?
It was great. It was really good. I thought, the story with Harper was very powerful. Again, just understanding, which we have talked a lot about on the show over the last few months about just the things that she's been going through. But, hearing her tell her side of the story and just how she's battled it. But I thought it was very well done. It was great. And it was awesome that ESPN gave this platform to Nebraska volleyball. Again, a platform that doesn't always showcase women's volleyball teams. That being said, it was very, very well done. I don't know if it was any better quality than what we've seen our in-house folks do or the Big Ten Network. I think there's some really talented storytellers, and I think, look, I'm so happy that there is continuing to be exposure, but I thought, some of the documentaries that we've seen done on Nebraska volleyball were just as well done by the folks in-house and the Big Ten Network. But it was very well done. It showed a different side story, especially with Harper, that has unfolded over the last year that I think was great to see. And some of the other things that they noted, and it was great for the entire country to be able to see that. But in terms of just like wow factor, I think I've been wowed by a lot of different things that have been done on Nebraska volleyball.
I'm sure it was hard for Harper to watch.
Yeah.
Because it was emotional, and it tugged on a lot of things. Her dad, and then obviously at the end of the problems that she had off the court in the spring that's been well documented. I'm sure it was painful for her to watch, but as Troy said, I think it also shone a light on the pressure that these athletes are and kind of some social media bullying that they all get, whether they miss a free throw late and don't cover a spread, and so some gambler's mad, or whatever the case may be. I think it maybe shined a light on that it's tough being at a high-profile school like Nebraska and being a college athlete. I think that's probably a good thing.
Yeah, it showed that it's tough, but they also wouldn't want it any other way. They love the fact that people care, are invested, and wouldn't you much rather play in front of fans and the Husker Nation that is invested, and a lot of places don't get that. I don't know if there's anywhere in the country that have that, but I thought just Rebecca Alec was a star as well. She's always been great. But, Jennifer Carson Strauss, who was the producer who I got a chance to chat with a couple weeks ago, if you follow her on social media, she posted several things and talked about how there was a lot of things that, just like we always talk about, didn't make the cutting room floor or were left on the cutting room floor. But she said that once things started to unfold with Harper, that Harper said, I want to talk about this, that, she realized that she could probably help some people in being honest about her journey, but is probably also healing some of the things as well. As you mentioned, probably incredibly difficult for her to watch some of the emotional parts of it, but it sounded like she really felt a conviction to want to portray some of the things that she's worked through. But give Jennifer a follow, or go check out her social media on X. I said it right, on X, because she had made some fantastic points, just some behind the scenes type of notes that maybe you didn't know, but had talked about just that Harper was willing to do it. And so I think they took advantage, and I think they took advantage of her willingness, and I think it was an incredibly powerful part of the piece.
I thought it was going to be worse. I really did. I thought it was going to be more invasive of Harper than it was. I think they handled it pretty darn well. I know a lot of Husker fans are going, well, why didn't they do more of this or that? Well, they're playing not to really Husker Nation. They're trying to play to a nationwide audience, and I think that was their kind of story about the pressure that this is, the playing here is, and then obviously the Harper dealing with, mental health issues, that she's fighting to be a young person and learn her way in this world. I think that's where they kind of took it. And if you just wanted a straight volleyball story, you're probably getting that from Nebraska media or from our own in-house departments. This was more for a nationwide audience, and I think they struck a pretty good chord.
I do too. I really do. And she told me, Jennifer told me that when they went into it, they had a completely different train of thought with what they were going to do with the piece.
Yep.
And then it changed. And so whatever, the stories that that became prominent throughout the last year, the one complaint I had watching it, I wish they would have told Merritt's story a little bit. That was kind of we opened up and we heard a lot about Rebecca, and but I wish maybe we would have heard a little bit more from Merritt. But again, how do you fit it all in there?
Right.
You have a limited amount of time, and that's what she said. 48 minutes sounds like a lot, but it's really not when you're talking about telling the story of an entire season and all the different nuances of a season. And so it was hard to get it all in there. But that was one piece that I was like, I wish they would have shown a little bit of a light on Merritt Beast a little bit more. But, overall, thought it was incredibly well done. And I was glad that the entire nation was going to get to maybe have a view of what Nebraska volleyball is like, because you can maybe be in this little bubble here, and we certainly are so appreciative of the coverage that happens of this program, but across the country, probably opened some eyes, and people saw that probably wouldn't have known much about or understood much about it without that specific documentary.
Had the Huskers won the title, I think the show's different.
Yeah.
But they didn't. So you don't kind of end it on a loss. You had to kind of figure out a different way to take that piece. So and folks, that factors into it. I mean, they have to kind of try to tell a story. And once we got beat by Texas in the finals, it kind of changed maybe the narrative of where that was going to go. All right, Matt Rhule met with the media today as normal Monday press conference on game week. We'll play a couple of clips from that. Jessica attended both fan days, volleyball at Devaney and then football at Hawks on Saturday. Got a chance to talk to some of our young fans. We're going to hear from some of them coming up later in the hour as well. All that here on a Monday night Sports Highlight on the Huskers Radio Network.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Timmy, everybody. Great job. Next up for our 5th grade class recital, we have Samantha.
10 times better performance can make a big difference. Castrol Edge Motor Oil gives your engine 10 times better high-stress performance. Castrol Edge, better oil for maximum performance. Now through December 28th, Castrol Edge and Edge High Mileage Motor Oil are on rollback at Walmart.
Claim based on sequence 9 test under high-load conditions versus API SP test limits.
Hi, I'm Rachel, and I have a serious heart condition called hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, or HCM. Some symptoms include being short of breath, feeling tired, or having dizziness or chest pain. I still had symptoms on my beta blocker, so I asked my cardiologist about any treatment advances. It was a breakthrough for me. That's why I'm working with Bristol Myers Squibb to raise awareness about HCM and to help others like me. Talk to your cardiologist today and visit hcmrealtalk.com for more information.
Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts. Set. Hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TL Irrigation are like no other.
Here in Nebraska, we love our teachers. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is teaming up with Husker Athletics to recognize teachers who help students live their best and healthiest lives. Visit huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today to tell us about your favorite Nebraska educator. Winning teachers get a school day visit from Herbie Husker and a VIP experience at the 2025 Husker football spring game, thanks to their biggest fans at Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska. Head to huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today.
It's time again for some Nebraska farm facts. For Nebraska soybean farmers, sustainability is a way of life. 97% of farms are family-owned, and 95% are participating in conservation programs and using sustainable practices. And they have significant sustainability goals by 2025. 10% more energy efficiency, 10% less land, and 25% less soil erosion. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Elevate your drive with Woodhouse Buick. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff are here to help you find the perfect vehicle for your needs. Plus, with our current offers going on now, you'll save even more. Save up to $3,149 off MSRP on the 2024 Buick Encore GX Sport Touring all-wheel drive. With approved credit, must finance with GM Financial, must have 2010 or newer trade-in to qualify. $299 doc fee due at signing. Offer expires 9/3/2024. See dealer for details.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your basement and damaging your home. Mold, cracks, and of course visible water are just a few signs your basement is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
If you're driven by an adventurous heart, you're in luck. The 2024 Subaru Outback shares your spirit. It will take you as far as you want to explore with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive and up to 9.5 inches of ground clearance. Plus, 96% of Outback vehicles sold in the last 10 years are still on the road today. The 2024 Subaru Outback. Go where love takes you. Longevity based on Experian automotive vehicles in operations versus total new registrations for model years 2023 to 2022 as of December 2022.
Sports Highlight brought to you by Choices Treatment Center. If you or someone you know is struggling with problem gambling, free treatment is available in Nebraska. Call Choices Treatment's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300 for more information. Offices in Lincoln and Columbus. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody back with you. Monday night game week here on Sports Nightly. Matt Rhule met with the media today. He'll do that every Monday throughout the football season to preview the upcoming game. And one of the questions he was asked, are you planning on easing Dylan into the game plan and into his first start as a college quarterback?
Dylan's going to play. He's going to play the plays, right? He's going to, when we call drop back, he's going to go back there, take his drop, go through his progression. Just how we want him to play when he's a junior. We're going to start day one that way. We're not easing into anything.
I like it.
I
like
do
it.
too.
Hey, give him the reins. Let him do it. I don't think Dylan wants to be held back either. You know, let him see what he can do. And I like he made a comment too. I'd rather lose the first game than the last game. So get him out there, throw him to the fire, let him get a full experience. But again, we talked about this last week, but if there's anybody that I feel like who can handle it as a true freshman quarterback, it's Dylan Rhule. Just the way that he's gone about things, and I think he'll be ready for it. And I think he'll appreciate not being held back.
I agree. And plus, you got a big game week too. You need him to run the offense to get ready for Colorado. So I think why put the reins on him? Let him go and do this thing. And I think that's kind of the mindset of the whole camp has been, we're cutting loose. We're not going to just not tackle because we're worried about getting somebody hurt. We're not going to keep a guy out of the lineup because we want to try to preserve a red shirt. If it can help us win, we're going to go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, they're so hungry to win. And as he said, I don't know, he was asked about, is it how you would approach every freshman quarterback, or is it for Dylan? And he said, this is just how I feel right now and about this team. And I think he feels confident with the guys around him and the defense. Hey, let's go. Let's let them go. And if the guys can help us win, we're gonna win now, and we'll figure out the rest as we go. But if those true freshmen can help them win, they're gonna let them go. I mean, I think we saw that last year with some of the true freshmen. They can help them. They're gonna let them get out there and do their thing. But I think they've got a lot of freshmen that they're going to be trying to figure out, because I think a lot of freshmen have made the case to be able to help them win.
Absolutely, including QB1. All right, UTEP is the opponent on Saturday. The Miners under a new coach, Scotty Walden, left Austin Peay to take the reins in El Paso. Here's the coach talking about what kind of challenge UTEP poses for the Big Red on Saturday.
When you watch UTEP's offense, at least based upon Austin Peay, they test every facet of your defense, right? So they're going to play with great tempo. So you're going to have to sub a lot of guys. They're going to attack you on the perimeter. So, your cover guys have to be really physical. They're going to take shots down the field. They're going to run the quarterback. Their tailback, I want to make sure I say his name right, Javon Jack. I don't know if it's Jevon or Javon, but he's an excellent football player with elite contact balance, and he can make you miss. If you look at most games early in the year, the games were won or lost in week one based upon tackling and based upon giving up big plays and missed assignments. You watched the games the other night, right? You watched the Georgia Tech game. They bad snap. Okay, they have the ball on the 39-yard line. They throw a tunnel screen out. They make that tackle, and it's a long kick. They missed that tackle. He's down at field goal range, and they win the game. So we're going to have to tackle really well. They brought over a lot of talent, a lot of skill, a lot of speed. So I think our fans will get a chance to see our defense tested in ways you don't get tested in the Big Ten. I mean, it's going to go from a bunch to 5-by-0 to double pass to trick play to tempo to inside zone. I mean, it's really a great offense. They averaged 34 points, 6 points or something like that a game last year. And while they run, they only averaged about 68 plays a game. Last year there's some game, but they're going to go fast. So it'll be a challenge. It'll be a real challenge. It'll be good for our defense if we can handle it. It'll be good for our defense to come out there practice, and every other play is a redo right now because we're just not handling the amount of things. You don't really see that when you go to a Big Ten game. So it's a wide open style that is fun to watch. Hopefully not fun to play against.
Sounds like it's going to be a good first challenge. Yeah. And it also sounds like they've got some pretty good pieces in place and some pretty good playmakers on both sides of the ball. But at least Coach Rhule is familiar with the staff and what they might try to do. I think it could be easy and it's easy for us and it's easy for everybody to say, oh, week two, look ahead to week 2. But going back to what this team did every single week last week, it's 1-0 this week. So they are not going to be overlooking UTEP. I can promise you that. And I'm glad that we're going to be tested in the throwing game because Shedeur and Colorado are going to come here and throw the football. So I think it's good that we're getting that kind of a test this week before I know the coaches are thinking about week 2. We can, but I think it's good. It'll help the defense out a little bit. Well, this is the first home opener for the Huskers in 5 years. You got to go back to 2019 when Nebraska opened the season with a home game. The coach was asked about what that means to get a chance to start the college football season at home.
Bigger than any just one guy. It's about the team. It's about the university. It's about the state. It's about everyone that comes to the game. So I'm excited to be at home. I'm excited to have that lack of crowd noise. But along with that comes the distractions of am I going to play a play and then wave to my mom, or am I just going to play the next play, right? And so there's a lot of things here that, with an older team they'll get, when some of the young guys get in there, we'll have to just keep refocusing them. And that's why I said what I said. We have to go like this every single game and get better. And that's why we're going to start off playing the way we want to play at the end of the year, at the beginning of the year. And if it doesn't look perfect early on, we're not going to flinch. We're not going to flinch. We're going to do what we do and just try to get better every year, every game, so that when we end the season, we'll play our best game, the last game.
Yeah, I mean, and it goes back to the message that we heard him say a few weeks ago that went viral about we got to do what we do, and we can't hold on to the things. We got to keep moving on, and just this is why we lose. We focus on some of these things. We've got to do what we do in practice. It's got to translate to the games, and then when we do make a mistake, we've got to learn from it and get better from it every single week. So I think this team's got the right mindset for it. I mean, it's makeup and it's build with the players that have come back. Certainly have the mindset to be able to handle just that, as he just said, but it's not going to be perfect. I mean, there's going to be some mistakes that are going to be made out of the gate. It's about building. It's about hitting your peak at the right time. And, you don't want to come out of the gate and be perfect and then go downhill. You want it to be opposite. So, there's going to be some mistakes. They've got to be able to learn from it and get better from it. And, that's the message that when I spoke to both the freshman quarterbacks, Dylan and Danny, throughout from spring to now, that's what they talked about is, look, the first practice, boy, it was tough. My eyes were open, but go to the film, get better. What are the mistakes I made? How can I get better from it? Sounds like it was the same case with Dylan after scrimmage, from scrimmage 1 to scrimmage 2. They're going to learn from their mistakes. When you have those young players, it's just how it is. It's what's going to happen, and it's not just the quarterback. It's every position that you have those young players. They grow exponentially throughout the course of the season and getting those opportunities. They grow so much from that. And so even a guy like Emmett Johnson, look how much he grew. It's just the more opportunities you get to be in that kind of fire, the more you learn from it every single time you get that chance.
I'm glad you mentioned Emmett, because the depth chart came out today, and there are 4 number 1 running backs: Ramir, Emmett, Gabe, Dante. Or. So nobody really has broken out of the pack. And we had some questions last week from people in the chat about who's the number 1 running back. I can make a case for all 4. I do think Emmett probably gets the first carry, but it's razor thin, I think, between all those guys.
Yeah, and I think, too, depending on the game and how it goes, who's got the hot hand. I think they'll probably start going to who has the hot hand. If somebody comes in and makes a play, they're going to keep going to them. But you got a lot of different guys you feel confident in. I don't think that's a bad thing, but I'm with you. I think it'd probably be Emmett to start. But, they love all of those guys. And you heard Coach Rhule say he wished that there was some separation, but they've all done everything right and have made it so tough that I don't think that's a bad thing, and you're going to need all of them. We saw it last year, unfortunately, really quickly to start the season. You're going to need them, but we'll see. That's going to be a storyline that's going to be really interesting to see how this thing goes on Saturday.
That thing may look totally different in a month.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The running back room could look different. All right, injury front. Bly Hill, Henry Latofsky, probably not able to go on Saturday. Bly has worked his way back from his other injury, but he's kind of tweaked the hammy a little bit, and you got to be careful with those because you can really set yourself back on that. And Gunnar Gatula has rolled an ankle, so he is questionable for the game on Saturday. That's not good news. That's that tackle spot on the offensive line that you're already razor thin at. So they're hoping that he can make progress and get back soon, but Gunnar Gatula with a rolled ankle. Plenty of depth in that secondary, and I think you're going to see some guys roll in that secondary during the game just to get some of the twos like Sierra Wright and Mari Sanders, get them on the field just to get them their feet wet in the UTEP game. So Coach last week challenged that second string group in the secondary. You guys need to close the gap between the ones and U's. So I think they're going to throw them out there. But Gunnar, Jeremiah, not going to like hearing that. Another little nick up along the offensive line.
At least it's not too serious. But I was looking at that depth chart for the offensive line. There are some young guns in that depth chart, right?
Sure are.
But hopefully some of them can get some, you would hope, get some experience on Saturday and get that feel of being in a game. And some of them did, I know, some last year, but get them in the feel of what it's going to be like out there and in the fire because, there's a lot of young guys they're going to be asked to fill some roles this season. So the more you can get them comfortable in that situation, the better. But, they have a saying, next man up, and so all of them better be ready to go.
No doubt. Coaches during the game, Marcus Satterfield, Garrett McGuire, probably going to be in the booth. All of the defensive coaches down with you on the field. How about that?
I guess not really surprising because they were last year. All of them were. Mm-hmm. So I know that a lot of them like to be there coaching up their guys. And so, even Tony White was on the sideline last year. So I guess the only one would be Coach Butler, what he prefers to do. But I'm not surprised. But with so many defensive backs and so many young ones, I'm not surprised at all. And now, again, with the changes of the rules, you got some guys up in the booth that you feel confident with. So even, the jack position, it just lost his name.
I'll have to look it up in the break.
But he'll be on the sideline as well? Yep.
Well, he did say some of our kind of assistant coaches would be up top more with our full-time guys on the field. There's no way you're going to keep those main defensive coaches corralled in the booth. They're all too excitable.
Yeah.
And so they're going to go down. They're going to want to be down on the sideline.
But we've heard so many names throughout the camp of some guys that have taken on some responsibilities that I know that they'll trust being up in the booth. So.
And with the iPads now, you can see it instantly down on the sideline. You don't have to kind of wait for to go back and look at it up in the booth. So
Jack Potenza.
That's it.
Yeah.
I knew it was Jack, but I couldn't think of the last name.
But we don't know for sure about him, right?
No.
But
he did not mention whether he'd be up or down.
I'll bet he's down. Just again, they're just so hands-on, all those defensive coaches, that I would imagine he'll probably be down as well.
Folks, Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse, the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Jessica attended both fan days, volleyball and football, had a chance to talk to some of the youngest Husker fans out there. We're going to hear that segment coming up next.
Woodhouse Cadillac, where luxury meets performance. Discover the latest Cadillac models designed with cutting-edge technology and unbelievable design. Lease the 2024 Cadillac XT4 Premium Luxury All-Wheel Drive for $559 a month for 39 months, 10,000 miles per year. With approved credit, tax, title license extra, must have current GM financial lease, $1,500 down or trade equity, plus first payment and $299 doc fee due at signing. Retired courtesy vehicle. Offer expires 8/31/2024. See dealer for details.
Hi, this is Rex Burkhead, and I'm asking you to donate to the Team Jack Foundation to support childhood brain cancer research. Your contribution fuels the discovery of new treatments, enhancing children's lives and improving survival rates. Childhood brain cancer is a serious issue in Nebraska, where we rank number 7th nationally in incident rates. Every dollar brings us closer to a cure and a brighter future for these brave kids. Make a difference today by visiting teamjackfoundation.org to donate. Go Big Red.
Jim Gaffigan here with some more Straight Talk. Let's take a moment to appreciate our sweet children, loving grandparents, and eternal soulmates. Now let's use them to save money on wireless. Because with the Straight Talk Silver Plan, you get 4 lines for just $25 a month with unlimited data and no contracts. So add those human pawns, loved ones, and save money. Thanks, kids. You're finally worth it. Straight Talk Wireless, available at Walmart.
Get 4 lines on Silver Unlimited for $25 per line per month, plus taxes and fees. For data management practices and additional terms, visit straighttalk.com.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear Truckin' Awesome. Want more horsepower in the stable? The Tundra iForce Max is the most powerful Tundra ever. With its electrifying twin-turbo V6, you got everything you need. Saddle up the Tacoma TRD Pro. Its segment-first performance seats are designed to smooth out the shocks when the ride gets bumpy. The Toyota 4Runner is part mean streak, part wild side, and an all-around icon. Check out that signature power rear window, will ya? Yes, sir, Toyota trucks. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
Live reports of polar bear on the loose. Ma'am, is it cold enough for a polar bear in here?
Yes, we use SOS. Come on in.
SOS to the rescue! Nebraska defensive lineman Nash Hubbard here. People know me as the polar bear, and when I want to stay cool, I call SOS. Their techs don't make commissions, so they give you an honest opinion, fair pricing, and longer warranties than the competition, guaranteed. Mention the polar bear and get a free 10-year labor warranty on new York equipment. The best warranty you got.
Call 402-391-2336.
Hi, this is Rex Burkhead, and I'm asking you to donate to the Team Jack Foundation to support childhood brain cancer research. Your contribution fuels the discovery of new treatments, enhancing children's lives and improving survival rates. Childhood brain cancer is a serious issue in Nebraska, where we rank number 7th nationally in incident rates. Every dollar brings us closer to a cure and a brighter future for these brave kids. Make a difference today by visiting teamjackfoundation.org to donate. Go Big Red.
It's go time in the Midwest. The Labor Day sales event is on now. Time to get 0% financing or $6,000 cash back on a new 2024 F-150. Don't wait. Get our best deals on our best selection of Ford trucks only through September 3rd. These deals won't last forever, so that means it's go time. Go to the Labor Day sales event at your Midwest Ford dealers today. It all ends September 3rd. Now get 0% financing for 36 months for up to $6,000 cash back on a 2024 F-150. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers.
Here in Nebraska, we love our teachers. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is teaming up with Husker Athletics to recognize teachers who help students live their best and healthiest lives. Visit huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today to tell us about your favorite Nebraska educator. Winning teachers get a school day visit from Herbie Husker and a VIP experience at the 2025 Husker football spring game, thanks to their biggest fans at Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska. Head to huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today.
Support childhood brain cancer research by donating to the Team Jack Foundation. Your contribution funds life-saving research for new treatments and offers hope to children and families. Donate today at teamjackfoundation.org. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody back with you Monday night game week. Huskers set to take on UTEP Saturday 2:30. Our pregame coverage begins at 10:30 with Husker Game Day. This past Saturday was Fan Day, both for volleyball. They held theirs at the Devaney Center, and then football at the Hawks Championship Center. Jessica caught up with some of the younger Husker fans.
We are just days out from the season openers for both Nebraska volleyball and Nebraska football. It's Fan Day here in Lincoln, so we thought we'd bring you a little season preview from the best experts we could find. Let's start here at the Devaney Center and take a look at this line. It's all the way outside of the building. How are you feeling about the upcoming season?
Really excited.
Yeah. What makes you so excited about this volleyball team?
They're just awesome. They're a good team and they're good sportsmanship.
Tell me about your outfit.
I was gonna wear all red today.
Yeah. Well, tell me about your headband and your shirt.
Corn on my headband and a corn on my shirt.
What kind of expectations do you think we should have?
Good serves and hits. I think they're gonna win, like, a lot.
Yeah.
And I think they can do really good because they have a lot of good players.
Why do you love this team?
Because I just still.
Yeah. What kind of expectations do you have for them this year? What do you think they can do?
Win.
Why it makes them so good?
Because like they mostly like hit the ball over the net.
That I want to be like them, and that they're like really good at like talking to each other, making sure like they're okay and like that.
What do you like about the volleyball team?
That sometimes it wins.
Yeah.
My favorite player is Rebecca.
Oh yeah. What do you like about Rebecca?
That she always sometimes wins.
What does she need to do this season?
Pick up trash.
Pick up trash?
Cause all people little.
Whose shirt are you wearing today?
Leslie Rodriguez.
Awesome. Who are you wearing?
Bergen Riley.
Awesome. Why do you like Bergen?
Because I like about her because she plays good.
What would you like to tell them if you could give them a message?
Keep working hard and keep fighting.
Why do you think this team could do something special?
They could win all the games.
Yeah? What makes you think that?
Because I believe in them. Go Big Red!
Go Big Red!
Go Big Red!
All right, time to talk a little Husker football now. As you can see, ton of excitement for the Husker football team heading into the 2024 season as well. Let's go find some experts here inside the Hawks Championship Center here at Fan Day. Do you love the Huskers?
Yeah.
Why do you love the Huskers?
Because they're Big Red.
How do you feel about the team this year?
I think they are going to win a lot of games.
What makes you think that?
Because I had a coach on this team, and he taught me, and I got really good. I just want to tell you, I just want to talk to you for a minute.
Okay, what do you want to talk about?
If I like football.
Okay, do you like football?
Yes.
What do you like about football?
It's just I like the football players when they play it.
What do you like about the Huskers?
Playing football.
Playing football. Can you tell me about your outfit today? What are you wearing?
Bitch.
Tell me your name.
Nashi.
Who's your favorite player?
Nash Huntmaker.
How do you feel about the defense?
We good.
Really good? Yeah, I feel really good about it too. How can they be even better?
Jamari and Nash.
Like it? What do you like about Jamari and Nash?
I like how Nash's nickname is polar bear because polar bears are my favorite animal.
Like that. How do you feel about the defense?
I like the defense because they wear a helmet.
Yes.
And they wear some armor that's colored.
Yeah, they do. How many sacks do you think they can get this year?
What is a sack?
Where they get to the quarterback.
20? Oh, a lot. Like, a lot.
Like how many? You got to guess?
5.
5?
8. 56.
Hey, that's pretty close to the goal. Is 40. I like it. I think they can get 56. They can go over their goal, right?
Yeah. For each game, probably 11.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
So, like, over 100 sacks for the season?
Hope so.
What message would you tell Dylan Rhule as a starting quarterback? What would you tell him? What advice?
You got this, and just put your mind to it.
I love it.
Make a lot of touchdowns.
I love it. What advice would you give to Dylan Rhule as a starting quarterback?
I don't really know, but Uncle John said to come to you and say if I like football.
What do you think makes Coach Rhule such a good coach?
I think his plays. His plays aren't really nice.
What's your advice to Coach Rhule heading into season number 2?
Just make sure we keep the ball and that way don't get any turnovers. Day by day, we get better and better.
You've been listening to him talk, haven't you?
Yeah.
How many wins?
15.
15? I like it. That's a great number, yes.
Go Big Red! Go Big Red! Go Big Wayne! Go Big Ben!
Awesome, good job. Kids say the darndest things, Greg, but they are so cute. I love doing that feature every single year, and it's cool to see, you know, this is just such a long-standing tradition, both with Husker Volleyball and Husker Football, to see so much youth out there, so passionate about the Huskers. But there were some cuties, that's for sure.
Troy Dannon we were talking about Fan Day, and he went to both of them, and he goes, you know, next year, he goes, I think we'd like to maybe try, because volleyball, they just kind of line them out the doors. He goes, maybe we line them up around the concourse. Maybe we take it down to the court, and they sign on the court, and so we get the people out of the outdoors and get them inside.
Well, that
so they'll change a few things, I think, next year.
That, and I think, too, because, like, you think about football, right? If you just had one line, there's no way. But because they separate it, it gives the opportunity. So even if you don't get the quarterbacks, you can go get the defensive line or the defensive backs. If you separated it, and, you know, the team was so good, and I think because the football team's done it for so long, they figured it out a little bit to try to keep the line moving. You know, with the team, with volleyball and with Coach Cook, and, you know, they chat and they, you know, actually want to spend time, and a lot of times that unfortunately prevents some other people to get through the line. But I think there are definitely some tweaks that they will address. I told you this earlier when we talked, what was so special to me to see, and I know we see it every year, but again, just a reminder, there's so many teams, and women's teams even, that you might focus in on one player. But going through that line yesterday and seeing how many, every player was represented with somebody wearing their shirt, you know, Bergen Riley, Merritt Beeson, Rebecca Alec, everybody, Lindsay Krause, everybody, every player had fans there that they were wearing their shirts, and it just, again, you don't find that everywhere. You might have one player that's your favorite and they're the superstar of the team, but the fact that this fan base loves all their players and everybody has a different favorite player, it just, again, speaks to the dedication and the talent level, but also just that there are so many fun players to root for in this program.
No lean toward Lexi? Had to be a little bit of a lean, right?
I don't know. I
really?
mean, there were a lot of Lexis, definitely, but there were a lot of, I saw a lot of Bergens, I saw a lot of Krauses, saw a lot of Rebeccas, you know, a lot of Alex, but maybe there was a little bit from what I saw.
What kind of line did Dylan have? What the quarterbacks?
Oh, it was snaked.
Was it?
Yeah. I actually talked to a couple of guys that had gotten there pretty early. I think they lined up about 8:30. They weren't first in line, but they were pretty close to the line to be able to. That's what they wanted. They wanted to get Dylan to sign their helmets, but you know, they were trying not to take photos, but
hard.
But Dylan was so good about it too. You know, about when people wanted to chat with him. There was also this cool sign that someone said, they can't win if they can't score. They built this huge, like, I don't know what it was, like a pendant looking thing, but it was huge, and they was holding it up, and the defensive players were taking photos with it.
I love that.
Fans were so creative. There were some throwback photos there, but it was just a great day. It's so much fun. And again, just an opportunity. We talked a lot about this summer about Team Jack. Unfortunately, you know, because there's so much interest, you got to keep it moving. But just a neat opportunity to be able to do that and get, you know, get the signature signed, and just a fun day.
Good stuff. All right, folks, we'll take a break. When we come back, everybody's weekend winners. That's straight ahead.
Here in Nebraska, we love our teachers. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska is teaming up with Husker Athletics to recognize teachers who help students live their best and healthiest lives. Visit huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today to tell us about your favorite Nebraska educator. Winning teachers get a school day visit from Herbie Husker and a VIP experience at the 2025 Husker football spring game, thanks to their biggest fans at Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Nebraska. Head to huskers.com/touchdown for teachers today.
In the heartland, where ambition thrives, there are those who are made and those who are made for more. Just like the Huskers on game day, Kloss, a leading producer of ag equipment, unleashes the power of ambition in the field. Discover why our cutting-edge machinery and unwavering support aren't just a promise, they're a commitment to your success. Because at Kloss, we know you are made for more. Visit your Kloss dealer or CLAAS.com.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm broadcasting Major Macy Byers with Campus News. A surgical robot developed by UNL professor Shane Ferreter has received FDA approval, paving the way for greater access to advanced medical procedures in rural areas. The FDA approval followed a successful test of the robot aboard the International Space Station in February. The test involved months of preparation for UNL faculty and students working in close collaboration with NASA to launch and deliver the robot.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Pickup truck, sports car, motorcycle, minivan, townhouse, two-story, farmhouse, fixer-upper. What you drive and where you live is different for everyone, so it's important to have insurance that fits your needs and is just right for you. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that, which is why our agents help you design a comprehensive auto, home, and life insurance plan. Insurance that fits just right.
See Shelter Agent Joe Methy in Kearney, Jackie Rowan in Lexington, or Megan Fales in Cozad today.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time, play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
We're back inside the Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs solutions for every field. Boy, was it fun. I watched a lot of the football on Saturday. Georgia Tech, Florida State was a terrific game. I even enjoyed the SMU-Nevada game, which was way closer than most people thought. I enjoyed it. It was a good day to just kind of kick back, get my football, college football taste buds going.
I missed that game because I was at the fan day, and then they had it on the big screen, but it just was so much going on, and then I was editing the piece. But
it rained there for 10 minutes, first quarter.
People were asking me, though, I had a couple people ask me, you remember being there? I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful stadium, but I'd like to forget a couple of the things that happened there. But it is a beautiful stadium. It looked good on TV.
I'm sure Florida State felt the same way. We loved it, but we didn't like the game.
Yeah.
So, all right, time for the weekend winners. We'll let you lead us off. What do you have?
I'm got to go with Andy Jackson. Wow. She
hit
was
525.
Absolutely electric. How much was it? 15 kills, 17 kills. But yeah, hit nearly 600, had 7 blocks, and was just, when we talked to Jalen Reyes last week on The Dig, you could tell he's pretty excited about the growth that she's made, and I think we got a little bit of a taste of it. I mean, she is going to be electric to watch. She was electric last year, but yeah. I mean, she was so good last year, and just the steps that she's made going into her sophomore season.
It just sounds different.
Yeah.
Her swings sound different, but man, that percentage is...
Some of the photos that show her jumping over the net, it just, like, she's got to be able to dunk a basketball easily, right?
I don't know. That's a great question for The Dig.
Yeah.
Ask them in The Dig. Yeah. Good stuff. And tomorrow night, we're not on because the Huskers are against Kentucky. First serve at 6. Henry, you got a winner for me?
I do. I got a winner for me and David because he couldn't find
chickened
one.
out.
Yeah. It's all right. But I'm going to go with the kickers in the Georgia Tech Florida State game. Aiden Burr hit the 44-yard game winner right at the end, but I couldn't not mention the FSU kicker, Ryan Fitzgerald.
He was awesome.
He had a 52 and a 59-yard field goal.
2 over 50. Amazing. Good stuff. I'm going, anybody see the end of the Little League World Series?
Yes.
Lake Mary, Florida beat the team from China, extra innings, and they won it on a walk-off bunt. Runner at second base, the kid bunted. China pitcher didn't handle it very well, threw it down the right field line. The guy came around to score. They won the Little League World Series. Pretty cool.
It was awesome. And then did you see the Chinese Taipei team was devastated. They were crying, and the Florida players were all consoling them. So it was a great sight to see, and then, awesome for the Florida team to win it, but then the fact that they were, helping them, because, devastating to lose that way, but also great that they were trying to say, hey, good game.
Yeah, you came a long ways.
Yeah.
Did really well. I love talking golf. Keegan Bradley won the BMW Championship over the weekend. They're in the FedEx Cup, so only the top 50 golfers in the FedEx Cup advanced to this past weekend's tournament. He was number 50. He barely got in. And then he goes out and he wins the tournament. He's up to number 4. The championship is this weekend. Scotty Scheffler will start the tournament with a lead because of his season-long points. But good for Keegan Bradley. Go out there. You barely slip into the tournament, and then you go win the thing.
The captain.
Captain of Ryder Cup. I think that's a good pick.
I think it's a great pick. I think he's going to be really good.
Yeah.
And I think maybe he'll have a different perspective on how to go about it, because obviously the last go at it did not go over well for the United States. So.
Zach Johnson was not overwhelming people. Tom and Hayes said, guys, that was the greatest thing I've heard in 20 years. Your fan piece, you guys are the best. There we go. Tom, loved your piece. That was cool.
Thanks, Tom. I always love doing that. And starting to see a few of the kids that come back a little bit, they run up to me and want to chat, so it's fun. And then sometimes you hear, obviously, a few of them have heard their folks or dad talk about a few things, and they repeat it. But it's I love doing that.
Well, we're not here tomorrow. Husker Volleyball, JB and Lauren, they're at Louisville playing Kentucky. It is an AVCA showcase, so there are 2 matches on that court tomorrow night. The second one will be Louisville, Wisconsin. Terrific night of volleyball on ESPN. We'll have it for you here on the HRN. Our next show, Wednesday night, it's our football show. Glenn Thomas, Husker quarterbacks coach, will be here for an hour on Wednesday night. We had the 2-headed tandem of Henry and David in here tonight. Great job, guys, running the program for us tonight. Enjoy volleyball tomorrow. We're back with you on a Wednesday night. Enjoy the games. Good night.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect that water is the reason parts of your concrete have gotten so uneven. Walkway tripping hazards, sinking pool deck, cracked driveways are dangerous threats to everyone's safety. But there's one way to learn how your concrete can be lifted. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Hurry up, dude. The game's about to start.
Nothing beats spending the day watching the game with your buddies.
Dude, I'm literally right here. Let's do this.
Which is why a shelter insurance renter's policy is key to your winning game plan. It protects things your landlord's policy doesn't.
Dude, where's your TV? What? No way, dude.
Like that flat screen TV that just got stolen.
See shelter agents Jeff Bond or Reed Duvall in Lincoln, or Agent Victoria Watkins in Nebraska City.
Set, hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium.